As we continue to unpack the midterm budget from yesterday, political analyst Moeletsi Mbeki joins us in studio. Mr. Mbeki, thanks very much for your time.
It's nice being here.
I mean, it was quite a damning statement yesterday. We can feel it this morning in the country. It was quite a downer, the minister's very realistic statement on the economy of the country.
Yes, I thought that the Minister of Finance was very honest and was very courageous about telling the citizens of South Africa what the state of their country's economy is, which I think is necessary so that we all are very clear as to what our realistic expectations out of the economy should be. However, I did not get a feeling that the minister knew how to get the economy out of the hole that it is in. Freezing cabinet ministers' salaries really is a gimmick. It's not a solution to our problems.
Well, I would argue that South Africans are well aware of the doldrums the economy is in. If we look at our employment numbers that were just released by Stats SA this week, we're now at 29.1%. That's only officially the expanded number, puts it at 10 million people who are without a job in the country.
Yes, absolutely. We have the highest unemployment practically in the world, certainly amongst similar countries to us. And this is a huge, huge indictment on the people who are managing the economy of South Africa, which is the South African government. It's a huge indictment that after 25 years of ANC government, of democratic government, we're sitting with 10 million people unemployed. It shows there's been a massive mismanagement of the economy of South Africa during the last 25 years. There is no investment in the economy. There are no incentives for investors to invest. There are huge blockages to investment. For example, things like the capital gains tax, that's a huge obstacle to investors. Things like black economic empowerment, these are major blockages to investment. So for so many years, government policies have actually been discouraging investment in our economy, which is why we're sitting with such huge poverty and with such huge unemployment.
And the issues, two of the biggest issues that emerged is, of course, the national wage bill. What can we do about government expenditure when we can't slash the national wage bill by a significant amount? And Eskom, who the minister called the biggest waster of the public purse.
There's something that can be done about all the issues that are there. South African public service is paid 14% of GDP. Similar countries to South Africa is only 6 or 7% of GDP.
And the thing about that is that we've not seen a dramatic boost in service delivery. So you can't justify that amount.
Absolutely. It's not justified. And it's the management of the public service. There's a lot of red herrings about the policemen on the beat, about the nurse in the hospital. It's not the policemen on the beat or the nurse in the hospital who are taking these huge salaries. It's the management of the public service that are earning these huge amounts of money. And why are they being paid these huge amounts of money? This policy has to be reversed. And those people who want to earn huge amounts of money must go to the private sector.
Yeah.
The government must reduce the cost of the public service, which is the top end of the public service, by half. And those who feel they will not accept that, they must go to the private sector and make those monies if they think they can make those monies. It's the same with Eskom.
Yeah.
But there's huge potential for independent producers to provide the power that is needed at much cheaper cost than what the hugely overstaffed Eskom. And we have to bring more of the independent power producers to produce electricity for South Africa. So there are solutions to all these problems, but the government is sitting there and and it keeps describing what the problem is. We know what the problem is.
Exactly.
They have to do something.
And I mean, you talk about the top echelons of those who work in government. South Africans are already footing the bill for the state the economy is in. South Africans are pressed to the max when it comes to their budgets. They've now been told you have to pay for e-tolls. The user pay principle will have to apply. For government ministers in the top echelons, the most that the finance minister could do was to reduce their car allowance by 200,000 rand to 500,000 rand. I mean, why not scrap a car allowance for those top executives in government altogether? South Africans are buying their own cars.
Well, you know, government officials are government officials.
But like you say, then go to the private sector.
They will say that they need the government cars, but that's not the major cost to South Africa. It's not government. It's the overstaffing of state-owned enterprises, with thousands of people who don't need to be there. Why are they keeping those people there? Every state-owned enterprise, it comes out time and again that there are people who shouldn't be employed there. They are earning huge salaries, and this has to be. And then the huge incompetence that goes on in the public sector, both in the state as well as in state-owned enterprises.
And what will Moody's be saying as it mulls over what decision it will make tomorrow?
Well, I think Moody's has a soft spot for South Africa. So I suspect they will continue with their soft spot for South Africa. You know, they see us as a sad case, and they treat us as a sad case. So I expect they will continue to think we're a sad case.
Just a sort of a parting shot before you go. So we're building up to the Rugby World Cup final on Saturday, and you know there's a lot being said around a sense of unity, but you know it's just for that couple of hours. It doesn't last very long, and it cannot, because we are the most unequal society in the world.
Well, we're the most unequal society in the world, but South Africans have a lot in common. This is one of the things that gets forgotten by the people who like to exaggerate the divisions that we have among South Africans. For example, I read the other day that 80% of South Africans are Christians. Mm-hmm. So that is a common culture, that is a common tradition. So there are many, and South Africans love sports, whether it's rugby or cricket or soccer or whatever. So we have a sporting tradition that affects the whole country. So that's what's common among South Africans. So there's a great deal that's common among South Africans, but we have to address the underperformance of our economy and the mismanagement of our economy essentially by the state.
Yeah, let's have more material things in common, I would say.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for coming into studio. Moeletsi Mbeki, a political analyst, as we continue to unpack just the implications, of what Tito Mboweni had to say in his midterm budget just yesterday.